right, guys, welcome in. It's Brad with College SportsCast. I'm hoping this thing is used tonight, trying to get this thing off the ground. So, Brad with College SportsCast, and we are presented by the Fanboys associated with Let's Talk Sports, Sideline Sports, and WSBN TV Channel 30. Check out our new intro. All right, guys, it's Brad with College Sportscast. I may be doing this by myself. I'm not sure. Had some issues tonight. So here to do our GlobL Jam recap, and we're going to get started with that anyway. So I'm supposed to have somebody, but he is having an issue with the link, and I think I'm having an issue with one of my streams as well. So I had an issue with it's been crazy trying to get. I took a couple of weeks off, and now you try to get things going, and it's a little bit crazy. So I really don't know. Like, I'm not exactly sure. Don't understand why I'm having some issues. I'm looking at one other thing here. I don't know. But anyway, welcome to our GlobL Jam recap show. That's what we're doing tonight. Kentucky's been in Toronto, Canada this week, and they are currently finishing up the gold medal game as we speak. And we're going to kind of dig in to the GlobL Jam and talk about it for a little bit tonight. So, like I said, it's a minute 23 in this game. Kentucky's a 20-point lead over Canada. And a minute now, 20-point lead. Kentucky's ball. And looks like they are going to close out a clean sweep, 4-0. Canada twice. Beat them 9 earlier, and they're up 20 right now with a minute 19 to go in the gold medal game. So looks like they go to Toronto, Canada, and bring home a gold medal and a trophy. So it looks like it's a really cool trophy, and they get to bring it home to Lexington, a international FIBA event, and gold medal and trophy. So pretty cool. They have played pretty well. So the game said he got it. I don't know if that means
Can you hear me? I still can't hear you for some reason. Uh, hmm. I got it turned on my AirPods. Is your input correct? Now I hear you.
Well, you can?
Yeah, I hear you now.
You have me now, Kaden?
Yeah, I
Okay.
hear you. You hear me?
I mean, all I changed a plug. I got a brand new computer, so I'm trying to.
Oh man.
I got a new computer. I go out.
No, you're good. It's just a little laggy.
Am I?
I
Oh,
see
is
your lips
it?
moving before I hear the sound.
I've got all this stuff going on. So it's been one of those nights. I'm not exactly one of my streams is not going right. I'm not sure what's going on tonight. It's been a crazy night so far. Just so you guys, if you know, this is Kaden Holmes from Talking Kentucky that is on with me tonight. And this was kind of a last minute deal to try to get somebody on with me. Like I said, Hammonds was back on here tonight, and so I'm joined by Kaden Holmes from Talking Kentucky, and we'll try to get things going here. I'm not exactly sure, but hey, Kaden, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to do it.
All right, man. I thought I would contact you and try to get your some of your inputs and your takes on what's been going on this week.
Yeah, I figured that you weren't asking for my opinion on football, considering I'm a little lacking in that regard. But I'm happy any day of the week to talk about some UK basketball. That's my passion, and I'm a big basketball fan. I've watched UK all my life, so I was glad to do this. But yeah, I was really, honestly, really, I was kind of tentative on getting excited for this team. But whenever I saw this game tonight, it kind of changed my mind some. Like I really like. I guess my big takeaways from tonight were number one, Justin Edwards. I know he's what projected number one draft pick, and so I think tonight, finally, I feel like he really showed why he's so strong and he can shoot
Edwards.
threes. He's such a Justin Edwards. He's such a physical basketball player, and he can finish at the
Yeah.
rim. He was running the ball down the court. Like I feel like he's Terrence Jones with like ball handling and shooting abilities. It's what he kind of reminded me of. And then the other thing was Trey Mitchell being able to spread the defense with all of his shooting. I thought I was really impressed by Trey Mitchell. And, me and Coleman on Talking Kentucky talk about how West Virginia is the gift that keeps on giving. And I think they did that again with Trey Mitchell. So those were my two big takeaways, especially from tonight. I don't know what your thoughts are, but
Well, so tonight's game, I mean, I thought they struggled a little bit, especially in the second quarter. Um, just a little bit. They cut it to 5 a couple of times. Once or twice in the second quarter, and then once early in the third, they did as well, I believe. And but they played really well the second half. They wound up winning by 17, and so it was a great showing to. I mean, for the whole week, but to go there and win and bring home gold medal and bring home the trophy is you got to be that, right, as a fan.
Yeah, and like you said, that second quarter, I was a little worried because it just looked like we were tired and we didn't have the intensity on defense. But
They were kind of
third
dragging
quarter
a
came
little
out
bit, yeah.
and they were. We're getting beat off the dribble a lot and just looked like our energy wasn't there. And I was afraid they were just tired from the week or something. But I was really glad to see him come back in the third and fourth and really put it away. And Antonio Reeves, I can't believe that guy didn't go to the NBA. He's lighting it up.
I know, man. We'll get to that in a few minutes, I promise. But golly, you're right about it. So Canada had a big game last night to get gold medal game. I don't know if you caught any of it or any replays or anything, but they come back from 17 down with about 4 minutes to go late in the third quarter and made it to the gold medal game, which I think was a big deal for them since they're the host country to even get to the gold medal game, especially being down 17 with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. It was a big deal for them. So congrats to Canada for even getting there. We played them twice, beat them the first time 24, beat them tonight 17. I figured this game would be a little harder tonight.
I honestly think that the final score doesn't really do it justice because going in like first three quarters, I feel like we're pretty close, and then at the end of the third and then the fourth, we kind of pulled away. So I thought Canada overall they played pretty well, but they just couldn't hang at the end.
They did. The Patterson kid, man, he had a heck of a first half for sure. I mean, that kid was all over the place.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
All right. So, Kaden, we're going to get to Antonio Reeves, okay? And here's what I want to say about Antonio Reeves. Antonio Reeves took 57 shots in 4 games. We're not talking about a small portion, okay? 57 shots in 4 games. A guard who also took an average of 8 shots per game as a three-pointer, okay? And he hit 60%.
Yeah, he just looks like he's on a
huge.
mission this year. He's throwing. He's like not even thinking twice about these shots either. Like, and it'll be from 25 feet. And he'll just launch it, and he's hitting them. It's amazing. I can't imagine this team without him. Like veteran presence and just his scoring ability. He's not just shooting threes. He's driving to the rim. He's doing floaters. He's finishing at the rim. Like all around, he's incredible.
I agree with you, man. I mean, like I said, what he's doing as a guard and shooting 15, 16 times a game percent is unheard of. That's a 60% is what a big man shoots in the middle. A good big man.
And we'll see if he can keep this up in SEC play. Yeah, we'll see if he can keep it up in SEC play. I have a feeling it's going to be a little different, but it was very impressive. Whoever you play,
I do, but yeah, I do too. I mean, we're talking about international play here as well. So, I mean, they open the floor; it's wide open a little bit more, So now Canada didn't play that way quite as much as the other teams. Canada really drove the lane. They played high-low, kind of like college players do a lot with big guys. And they didn't play that way quite as much, I didn't think. Canada didn't, like the normal international.
I have a feeling they took advantage of us not having a big man too. Like I have a feeling if we had Bradshaw or Ugana out there, we might have won by 30 or 40, if we're being honest. And I'm interested to see whenever those two are are back to playing, what Cal will do with that lineup. I hope he continues to play small ball and maybe play one of them at a time, because it seems to be working with all these incredible guards we have.
Yeah. You got to give props to Antonio Reeves. Like you said, he looks like an NBA player to me. I don't really understand how, the NBA could pass on something like that. I mean, I just don't see it. But I'm very happy that he's back in blue. And, we get one more season with him, and he looks like he's ready to fill it up.
Yeah, me and Coleman joke about Brady getting them right, but it looks like Antonio Reeves has bulked up, and he just looks physically he just looks so mature now compared to last year, and his play is imitating that.
Yeah. So then I'm going to get to, I guess I'll go from him to DJ Wagner. What was your take, and what was your impression of DJ Wagner's play in these four games?
Well, obviously, I can see why he was the number one high school player, and the potential is there. I think sometimes he maybe tries to do a little too much, kind of like Rob Dillingham, but his ability to create shots and finish at the rim, I think is really cool to see, and I think he's just going to get better and better as the season goes on. I fully expect him to just be a one and done at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he probably is going to be. Wagner probably is. I was really kind of surprised by his 3-point shooting. I thought he shot really well from 3-point land. I thought he was more of a take contact, drive, floater, you know what I mean, kind of guy. I didn't know quite as much on his 3-point shooting, and I thought he shot pretty well for the most part. He had one off game, I think, where he was 0 for 5. But outside of that, he shot, close to 40%.
Yeah, and speaking of Wagner, like, do you think it's looking like him and Dillingham will
tough nose?
Yeah, he is tough. He is tough, and his body is already NBA ready, I feel like. But speaking of Wagner, do you think him and Dillingham are going to be? I guess they're going to be switching off the point guard position. I assume Dillingham's going to play majority point guard, but looks like Wagner's going to be bringing it down the floor some as well.
Yeah. So heck, even Reed Shepherd played some point guard this week. I don't know if he will in the SEC play, but he did against some of these international teams.
He did. Looks like Lakers Jay made a comment. Why not keep Trey Mitchell as a center?
Yeah. Hey, this is true. Trey Mitchell played really well, and we'll get to him. He looked really good again tonight. Trey Mitchell did. So,
he did. He really did.
Yeah, he did. He looked really, really good. I appreciate you being on here with us, and we'll get to Mitchell. That's for sure. He looked really good. At least 2 of the 4 games, he played really well, and he didn't have any bad games. Trey Mitchell did.
Oh, he didn't. We rarely have someone like that spaces a floor like that.
Yeah, he didn't have any. Mitchell didn't, and he played really well 2 of the 4. But let's get to Reed Shepherd. So kind of the prodigal son for all Big Blue Nation, and with Jeff and Stacy Reed, or Jeff and Stacy Shepherd. Sorry, but she was a Reed. That's why I said that.
Oh, was she? I didn't know.
In case nobody knows that. But anyways,
You know her?
So Reed Shepherd was, I thought, was more so the spark in these 4 games than anybody else for this Kentucky team.
Yeah, and I think that's why I still think he could be an incredible 6-man, just that spark plug off the bench. That's just my thoughts, my opinion, but he's able to play scrappy defense. He makes, for the most part, good decisions. He had a few turnovers tonight. I don't think tonight was his best game,
Tonight,
but
he had 2 or 3.
yeah, he does the dirty work. He can shoot. He all around basketball player, and he plays scrappy. And he's more athletic than I thought he was gonna be. He's longer than I thought he was gonna be. Like, he got some pretty crazy blocks 1 or 2 games ago.
Man, that's what I got. You got to get to it. This kid, you don't see somebody that can block 3-point shooters the way Reed Shepherd did in a couple of these games. I mean, it's just the closeout, and to be able to get up that high to block for a 6'3", 6'4" guard is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think last game he got a block on a 3-point shooter, and then he took it by himself in transition and slammed it down. So I thought that was pretty cool to see. He's underrated for sure.
Yeah.
He was not a 4-star
Absolutely.
or whatever he was coming out of high school.
Yeah. No, well, so he was. I still say in one of them he was ranked as a 5-star, wasn't he? But the rest of them he was 4-star, I think. Which I don't.
Sounds right.
You know, I think that's about right when it comes to him. So,
agree.
You know, all the Kentucky fans were kind of, on the edge of their seat, kind of waiting to see how this team would look and how this team would come together, during this GlobL Jam. So, how do you overall think that the team looked? How do you think that they played? They come together the way you thought they would? Was it better than you was thinking? What do you think, Kaden?
Yeah, well, I'm the first to. I've been a little pessimistic. I know, just like a lot of people, over UK basketball and just the state of the program recently. So I was kind of in the mindset of, I got to see it before I'm going to believe it. And I think this game tonight showed me that I think we're better than what I thought we were going to be. And I think so from a guard standpoint, just having multiple scorers, I think we've got more of those guys that are just going to be able to, if someone's going to have an off night, we got more guys that are going to be able to make up for it. And I think that's something we've been lacking the last few years. So I'm tentatively excited for this year. And I think it's only going to get better when we actually have big men. It's pretty cool that we won 4 games without an actual center playing.
Yeah. So, outside of the top 3 that I just mentioned with Wagner, Reeves, and Shepherd, of course, you got to mention Justin Edwards. You've already mentioned him. Trey Mitchell is another one that, had a great 4 games. Those 5 kind of really stand out. I thought Adu played really well up till tonight. I thought Adu kind of was not – he didn't really show out tonight a whole lot. He was kind of in the background for most of the players tonight. He only had 3 points, 4 rebounds. He did have 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block tonight. But I thought he was kind of in the shadows tonight a little bit. Adu was out of the 4 games. Who did you think? I mean, outside of 2, you would kind of really stand out be Edwards and Mitchell.
Yeah, like I said, I was impressed with Mitchell's ability to space the defense. I think that's going to be super important. Like we haven't really had a guy like that in Cal's system. I don't think I can't even think of one single like stretch four. I mean, we had Nate Sestina a few years back. Can you think of anyone else? I think he'll be very
I
important.
mean,
And like you
honestly,
said,
if you want to know who I can think of, the only one I can think of, Caden, is Derek Willis.
Derek Willis, that's a good point. Yeah.
Derek Willis was he went.
Trey Mitchell, I think, is a better shooter than either one of those guys, and longer too. So I think he'll be pretty important to this team. Oh, Patrick Patterson, yeah. I don't know. He could make some mid-range jumpers, but he wasn't shooting threes.
But he wasn't he didn't shoot a lot of threes. Patterson didn't. My example in the Cal era would be Derek Willis. He was the closest thing in the Cal era that we have had to a stretch four. He actually played a lot of four, and he could step out and shoot 35, 36% from three-point land, probably. You know, somewhere in that range, 35, 36, 37%.
And that makes me think,
from
like,
what I've seen,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, from what I've seen from Trey Mitchell, you might be right. I mean, he might be a better shooter than that. I don't know. In 4 games. I mean, that's all I've seen of him so far.
That just made me think. I asked Coleman on our last show, like, after seeing these games, what do you think our starting five is going to be once Bradshaw and Ugonna come back? I mean, we haven't seen Bradshaw yet, but I honestly thought he was going to be our best player from the highlights.
Well, I expect Bradshaw to play. All this stuff that he won't play is ridiculous. He'll play. I expect him to play, and of course, Ugonna be back with whatever happened. You know, he'll be back at some point in time. So that kind of brings me to my next little topic here that I was going to put up is this. So when you add the bigs, how do you think that's going to affect this team? Because they played up and down and spread the floor and shot a lot of threes, and there was not a lot congested in the lane for the drivers, you know, for people driving the lane and stuff. So when you put bigs in this equation, how do you expect that to affect the team?
Well, I know what I kind of want the starting lineup to be, and I've already kind of mentioned the small ball thing. I think would be awesome with 1 big and 4 guard type players. But what I expect it to be is Ugonna and Bradshaw playing. And I honestly, like you said, I am worried that will kind of clog up the paint, but we'll see what Cal does with that. I think it should be Dillingham, Wagner, Reeves, Edwards, and Bradshaw. That's kind of the 5 I'm thinking right now. But I think he'll want to play Ugonna.
So you think – try to think. So that puts Adu on the bench. That puts Mitchell on the bench.
Yeah. So it's going to be clogged somewhere in there, whether it's the starting lineup or the reserves.
You're asking me who my 5 would be? I'll be what I've seen. I would probably have Dillingham on the bench. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that it'll wind being Wagner, Reeves, Edwards, Mitchell, and one of the bigs, whether it's Bradshaw or Ugonna.
That's a good point. It's hard not to start Mitchell at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think if he continues to play like, I think he's a starter. I mean, tonight, I want you to listen. Like, so he also averaged like 5 assists a game as well, Mitchell. Okay, so he had. I got the stats. I just got to add it together. So he had 18 assists in 4 games. So he averaged 4 assists a game. Mitchell did.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I did not realize that.
From the big, like from, like 4.5 assists is a lot. And tonight he had a double-double. He had 18 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. And like I said, he had a game with 7 assists. He had a game with 5 assists. So, I mean, I don't see how you can keep him out, to be honest with you. Right now, like I said, I think early on, if he's healthy, that you'll see Ugana start. But it wouldn't surprise me if Bradshaw doesn't start and Ugana come off the bench.
Cal's got a lot of options. Coleman says DJ, Reeves, Reed, Mitchell, and Bradshaw. So, Coleman, you don't think our number 1 draft pick's going to start? I think Justin Edwards is a
he
for
doesn't
sure
say
start.
Edwards.
No, he doesn't say Edwards. I think Edwards is for sure. Maybe in place of Reed there, and Reed being the 6th man. I could see that lineup for sure. Reeves is starting. He's been putting up 20 something a game.
Reed, see, I think Reed comes off the bench. I just do with this.
Reeves basically put up 30 last game.
No, Reed. Not
Oh,
Reed.
Reed. I was about to say.
No, not Reeves. Reeves doesn't come off the bench. No, Reed is
Reed,
what I said.
Yeah, I agree. 6 man.
Yeah, I think Reed
man.
comes off the bench. I just do. There's so much. Like, Edwards is going to start.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine. I can't imagine DJ, Edwards, and probably Bradshaw are going to start.
And then Cal will probably add Ugana and Reeves to that. Wait, or did you already say Reeves?
Coleman says Wildcat Sports Talk wouldn't like this Reed
coming
off the bench talk. Listen, you if you go by draft and potential and everything else, and that's what Cal usually does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what he usually does.
And his veterans, yeah.
And his veterans. But so the 3 incoming freshmen, according to all the draft projections and everything else, that have the best potential is Wagner, Edwards, and Bradshaw. Now, Dillingham is great, and Shepard is great. And they're going to be great players for us this year. I'm not saying they won't. They definitely will. Shepard's proved to me that he's an absolute stud of a player already. Yes, Justin Edwards played well tonight.
He killed it, Coleman.
He was the leading scorer, Coleman. Yeah. He led the team in scoring. He had 23 points, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks. He played really well. Hit a couple of threes. He played really well tonight. Edwards did. He's going to be. Hey, Robert, what's up, man? It's good to see you on here. If I'm having some issues, I've got some new equipment. I'm trying to figure all this stuff out, so I apologize for that if you guys are on and I'm having issues tonight. But yeah, so like I said, I would start DJ, Reeves, Edwards, Mitchell, and probably Bradshaw. I kind of would like to have Ugana in there for the rim protector. But if Bradshaw can step out and hit 35, 40% from three-point line in the center position and can do that at the 4, this team's going to be damn near capable.
Yeah.
I mean,
didn't he already say, though, he wants Bradshaw playing the 4? Didn't he say that at some point, or did I dream that?
He did. He did, but that's before you pick up Trey Mitchell.
That's true.
Unless you play mid-5. I mean, you could play Mitchell at the 5 and play Bradshaw at the 4.
Yeah, you could. It's pretty interchangeable.
You know, you could switch it up, play the 7-footer at the 4.
Man, I can't imagine. Even Justin Edwards at the 3. That's gonna be a tall lineup. Reeves and Wagner, they're both 6'3", 6'4".
Lineup.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's a tall lineup for sure. I agree with you on that. It definitely is. Well, that's kind of what we've been talking about here is the outlook. You know, now that we've seen these 4 games, what's the outlook on the season, and where do you think they'll be come towards the end of SEC play and, you know, the tournament and that kind of stuff? But first, season, now that you've seen these 4 games, where do you think Kentucky will be? Do you think they'll be in the top 20? Do you think they'll be in the top 10? Where do you think they'll be heading in the season?
Well, it's hard to say considering we didn't have our big man, but it looks like a top 10 team to me. I'm not going to say number 1 until I see the team with all the pieces, but maybe somewhere in the 5 to 10 range. I could see that. And I don't know, it gives me flashbacks. I was talking to Coleman about this the other day. Remember whenever we had those Bahamas games with the Tyler Hero team, we just destroyed everyone, like Mega B-Max and all those teams, and then we ended up playing Duke and getting beat by like 50.
Right.
So I'm hesitant to get my hopes up. But
yeah. I mean, I get it. Trust me, I've been that way too.
Yeah. I'm going to say somewhere in the 5 to 10 range. And I'm not going to say 40-0 because once you say that, it's like a curse. But I think I would assume we're probably projected to be number 1 in the SEC, right?
See, now that I actually think, and all you Kentucky fans that are on here with me is not going to like this, okay? But I actually think that Arkansas and Alabama, we have to climb that mountain first after the last year or two. We have not been at the level of Arkansas and Alabama, either one of them, and both of their coaches are still recruiting and getting players like crazy, transfers and high school kids. In my mind, now I'm not saying I don't know where they'll be at nationally, but if you're looking at just the SEC at the beginning of this season, I can't see putting us Alabama and Arkansas. We're going to have to prove it on the court is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we can't get there throughout the season. I'm just saying heading into it, I think we're going to have to prove it on the court. That's my opinion when it comes to the SEC.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, being hesitant on getting your hopes up on UK basketball these days. Trust me, I'm pretty pessimistic myself. But after seeing this game tonight, I do think that we got more guys that can just go get you a basket than we've had since like 2017. So that gives me some optimism.
Yeah, I mean, it does me too, a little. I'm a little pessimist when it comes to this right now, but a little bit. But, you know, Coleman, do I think we'll take as many threes when the bigs return? I hope so. I actually enjoy watching the way they played. It's really fun to watch. I hope that Reeves gets to continue to have that green light because he deserves it. When you can shoot 58.3% from the three-point land, you ought to give anybody a damn green light when you can shoot damn near 60% from three-point land. You name going into this game, he was 4 of 8 tonight, which is 50%. Terrible, I know. All right. I mean, terrible, I know. But dude was 58.3% on 24 3-pointers. He shot 32 3-pointers in 4 games, okay? 32. And he hit 18 of them, guys. 18 of 32. If you can't give that dude a green light,
yeah, he's playing on another level than anyone right now. And like I said, I cannot believe he came back this year and the NBA didn't see how good he was. And Coleman says that we knew Reeves was our best player this time last year. I'm not kidding you, Brad. I saw the first play that Reeves caught the ball and drove towards the basket and made this like crazy pass. And as soon as that happened, I was like, yeah, he's probably our best player. And I think he pretty much was the whole time. He just looks like a solid basketball player. He makes the right decisions, and now he's just scoring at will. Like you said, I hope he just keeps it up, and I hope they don't get scared and want to hold the ball and not shoot, and kind of like what we see in the past.
Justin Edwards looks like he had the green light tonight as well.
He does.
So, I mean, yeah, to shoot as well. Coleman was asking about threes. I think that you're going to see a lot of threes. And if Bradshaw has the go ahead to shoot more, Mitchell, we're going to see shooting more from a stretch 4. So Coleman, yes, I think you're going to see us shoot even in SEC play. I think you'll see us shoot at least 25 threes a game, which is up from what we've done the last couple of years.
So basically everyone we have other than Uganda has a green light, right? Adu, maybe?
That's what I say. Yeah, Adu, maybe. Adu's 3-point shot didn't look all that great.
I don't know if I've seen him take one.
Yeah, he took.
I don't know what his jump shot looks like.
One tonight, but he took you in these games.
Oh, okay.
It's, to be honest with you, I need to shoot too many threes. But outside of that, Coleman says 30. I agree. I mean, 30 would be great, but I'd say we'll average at least 25.
Hey, Coleman, that's what that John Wall team tried against West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, they did shoot 33s that night. Sad part is they didn't hit 3 of them.
No, they didn't. Literally, they didn't hit 3 of them.
Right. That's the sad part. Is that they didn't hit 3 of them. All right.
You could say the same about the Kansas State game and
yeah.
Basically anytime we lost in the tournament.
In the tournament, yeah, under Cal. Yeah, basically, yeah. The UConn game that we lost years ago, that was the same way.
We might have some makers this year, maybe.
Yeah. So I asked the question about heading into the season. So there's been so much talk. I'm in so many groups. There's been so much talk about Kentucky not even being in the top 25. And let me straighten y'all's dumbasses up, okay? Like, y'all, if you think that Kentucky's not deserving of being in the preseason top 25, you need to take your basketball player's card and hide it in the trash somewhere. I mean, honestly, like, that's just ridiculous talk. I like, me personally, I like when Kentucky is not quite so high preseason and they get to kind of come from behind and overtake things and do it that way. I like that better. I would rather see this team ranked 12th or 13th or something to start the year out. Give them something to go after, to prove, to be like, no, that's not even close to how good we are. Let's go get this. Give them something to go after. That's what I like. I think it's best when that happens. So, that's my take on the preseason thing. I do believe this team has enough talent to be in the conversation, to be number 1 or number 2 in the SEC, and to be in the conversation to at least make an Elite 8 run. I would love to see them do better. Don't get me wrong. I'm hoping that they'll win the national championship, but I think this team has the talent to at least make an Elite 8 run, which for us Kentucky fans over the last 4 years, that would be a hell of an improvement if that happens.
Yeah, and unless you have Anthony Davis past the Elite 8, it's kind of a toss-up. It's kind of anyone's to take home. But, yeah, I completely agree. I don't want to be ranked number 1 beginning of the season. I don't want to go into South Carolina number 1 and they get their first win of the season against us and rush the court. I don't really want to see that.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Let's be that 10 to 12 or like 8 to 12 rank, and then we don't have
I don't even care if
target on our back.
Yeah, 12, 13, something like that to start the year out with. That's perfect, if you ask me.
Agreed.
I think that's perfect. You give them something to prove and to go at, kind of upset about. No, we're going to prove that that's not even right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I like when it comes to that. When it comes to the rankings and that kind of stuff.
Coleman says his team is like the Tyler Hero team. I would compare it more to maybe like the De'Aaron Fox team.
But, yeah, see the Fox and the Monk and the Bam, that team was pretty. That team was pretty special. And out of all the teams since 15, that's my favorite team.
Agreed.
That 17 team
Agreed.
is like they had some talent, like in more than one spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the last time a team was like a typical Cal team, with that NBA talent on the roster, guys that were flying on the court, throwing up oops.
Yeah. So that's kind of my take. Now I got to get to this. So I'm happy that everything, and we've talked about where they might be, and I've also talked about the SEC. I think that Alabama and Arkansas has proven over the last 2 or 3 years with Musselman and Oates and their recruiting and replacing their players with transfers and everything that they're doing. I think they've proven that they're probably the top 2 teams in the SEC over the last 3 years. And I think Kentucky's going to have to prove it on the court that they are going to overtake them this year. And I think they have the chance to do that. I really do. But hopefully we'll whoop their tail and win the SEC,
Yeah, and I mean, for the first time in it feels like forever, we got guys that are the kind of players that Cal historically have wanted. The guys that are McDonald's All-Americans coming in, top 5 draft picks. So I think we got the roster to do it. Now, I'm not going to say right now we're going to win a championship, but I think this is the roster.
That 17 team is kind of similar, I think, with the Monk and Fox and Bam team. And there was more, but those 3 really were special and had a hell of a lot of talent, and you could see it. And you can see it in the NBA now. I mean, those 3 had a hell of a lot of talent on that team, and that was a fun team. I really loved that team. It's one of my favorites. the 17 team is. And I'm hoping that this team might, rival that because that's probably my last really favorite Cal team was that. Now, I like the hero team, the 19 team, but it wasn't the 17 team.
No, and I enjoyed that game. I was watching that game with some buddies, where he basically showed up. De'Aaron Fox basically showed up Lonzo Ball in that tournament game. That was such a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
He was
Oh,
lighting
I
it up.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
They were talking trash before, and he just went out there and played and destroyed him. It was awesome to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It definitely was. All right, so I got to get to this. Yesterday, hanging out at Drake's $100 million mansion, I got to ask you this question. Is that the biggest Cal flex yet?
Well, it's certainly a heck of a recruiting tactic.
I mean, come on. Is that the biggest flex? I mean, that's Cal just being like, look at us, dudes. I mean, you know what I mean? Is that the biggest flex in college basketball history is what I want to know.
Devin says biggest flex he's ever had. I don't know, Devin. Having 5 draft picks in the first round was probably the biggest flex, but this might be a close second. Yeah, it was. It seemed kind of arrogant, but it was good to see Swaggy Cal back in that one, I guess.
What happens with Thiero and Mitchell once Bradshaw and Hugo return? So I think Mitchell, I said it earlier for myself. I think Mitchell will be a starter, and I think one of the bigs will start, and one of them will come off the bench. That's what I think. And then you'll have Adu and Burks as the backup bigs off the bench. And you could also play Edwards there some if you wanted to and play him a little at the 4.
Yeah, Adu is pretty versatile. I feel like he can play small forward, power forward, and heck, even probably shooting guard if he needed him to. So, other than this game, Adu has been great. So I think he will get his.
He played backup point guard last year behind Wallace late in the season.
Yeah,
he did.
He did.
Yeah, Adu did. Yeah.
So he could play 1 through 4, honestly.
All right, so I had to get to that. I think you'll see Adu play kind of backup minutes, probably 15 minutes a game or something like that. Would kind of be my guess when it comes to that. But seriously, seeing Cal posted videos and pictures, and they got like welcome University of Kentucky and balloons and all over his mansion. And then he's like panning around and he's like, oh, what's that? Is that a hotel?
Yeah.
I wished you were here. I mean, come on, man. Is that not the biggest like flex to these recruits that's saying, you know what? You could have been here, dude.
Yeah. We all know exactly. That's why he was doing it. And it's nice to see him like smiling again, because past few years it's looked like he's not been having the best time.
This team is the kind of team that Cal has fun with, the kind of team that he likes. If you noticed, I think it was after the very first game in this GlobL Jam against Germany was the first game. One of his first statements after the game was I don't have to design a play for these guys. Like they're basketball players. You remember him saying that? Do you hear? You remember him saying that the other day? And that's the way he likes to have super talent that can just go out and make plays.
Yeah, but wouldn't we like a few plays, just in case nothing was working?
But that's how
like
he likes to
Elite
coach.
Eight in the tournament.
Now, I will give you this, though. Listen, Kaden, I'm a basketball coach at heart. I've coached, on and off over the years and stuff. So not at that level, but I've coached, and I'm a coach at heart, and I fully agree with you. But I'm just saying that's the way Cal likes to play. But I will give him this. He pressed. I was very impressed with the way they come out. I love the trapping press that they done the first two games. I hope that they will play that. I was impressed with that. He actually had some side out plays where he ran plays. Reed Shepherd had a hell of a pass on a 1 second left on the shot clock sideline play in that first or second game, maybe. He had a play there. Then yesterday, he switched and played 2-3 zone the second half.
Yeah,
in that game yesterday.
I thought I saw that. I had to
played
take a double
2-3
take,
zone
make sure that's what I
yesterday.
saw.
He did. He played 2-3 zone. So what I'm telling you is he did make a few coaching moves that I noticed and that I liked in this GlobL Jams.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and I was impressed with how the second quarter tonight was pretty bad overall, and the adjustments they made in the third. They're so much more energetic and really came out ready to play after the half. So that's something we haven't always seen either. And Coleman, he keeps on saying that. I hope we actually press this year. I hope we do too. I completely agree with both of you on that one.
Absolutely. This team is with Reed Shepherd out there and Wagner and stuff. This team should be pressing, man. I'm telling you, the length. You got a guy that can move like Edwards that has the length that he has. And the way Shepherd plays and stuff, this team should absolutely be pressing, and I hope that we will see that in the regular season, SEC play, that kind of stuff.
He could even play he has so many options on lineups that I didn't realize before. Like seeing Justin Edwards handle the ball, he could put Edwards at 2 and have like a big man lineup too. Like he's got a lot of options there.
I agree with you that Welch is going to be a great addition to this team. I think like he said, it's already paying off. The training that he does with these guys is going to be essential, especially with this kind of talent. I think it will be. And Devin, I am right there with you. I really hope that that's the way this team plays. I know when Ugana is in there, it's going to be a little different. Ugana will play more in the middle as a rim protector. He's not going to step out and even shoot 15-footers. I doubt it.
Agreed. Completely agreed. Coleman says, I hope they didn't take any shooting lessons from Drake while they were at his house. Yeah.
Drake wasn't even there.
Was he not
Cal's
there?
like, man,
Cal posted a picture with him, didn't he?
That wasn't then. No, Drake wasn't even there.
Sometime else. Okay.
Yeah, Drake was out of town touring and actually left Cal the permission. Cal was joking, saying Drake left me the keys.
It's probably one of his 15 houses, so something happens. He probably doesn't really care. So,
I mean, Cal's been like, Drake left me the keys. My friend left me the keys.
Coleman and I on our last episode, we had a real estate. We did this thing where we posted pictures of houses and we guessed how much they were. So we'll have to do that with Drake's house. There's no telling.
Drake's mansion. Oh, is that a hotel?
My first guess would be like 100 million, and it'd probably be too low.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, guys, I was just sitting back kind of laughing at all of it yesterday and all the picks and all the stuff they were doing. And then Cal's swaggy Swaggy Cal back in the seat, which I like to see. It's kind of funny, but it does pay dividends. It really does. That kind of stuff to these, 17, 18-year-old kids when they can be like, oh my gosh, I can go do that kind of stuff. It pays dividends. It really does. I mean, I laugh about it, but the truth is there's a reason why he does it. It does pay huge dividends.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing with that one. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he done the same thing with Lil Wayne, over the summer, talking about Lil Wayne. He's always bringing up Mambacita and his stuff with Gianna, with the shoes and everything, and his contact with her. He does it with Drake. He does it. I mean, if you noticed over the last month, since this class is coming on board and he's going to have this team, Cal's been putting it out there, man. Like, he's just flat out saying anybody and everybody should be coming here. That's what he's saying every time. It's been way more than just the Drake thing, but this Drake thing in Toronto at the GlobL Jam and having all the TV stuff there and just flaunting it out, was epic. I mean, it was an absolute epic flex.
So with
really was.
With all that in mind, how many years do you think he has left? I know we kind of predicted that this was going to be his last year, but it almost seems like it's not at this point.
I'm going to tell you what, here's what I've been saying, Kaden. And I've been saying this since the last half of last year, really. This class is special that he's got coming in, okay? And Cal has dug down and said, I'm going to do this my way. I'm going to bring in one of my best classes, and I'm going to do this my way, and we're going to go back to playing my kind of ball with my kind of talent. And he's dug in, and he said, that's what we're going to do with this team. That's what he did. That's why we only had 7 players for a while. He wasn't going after these guys and these transfers, and everybody's freaking out. And Cal's sitting back saying, I know the talent I got. I'm okay. We pick up Reeves and 1 or 2 guys, to come in and be a veteran in this class, and that's what he's done. He was confident in it. And here's what I'm going to say is this, and I've been saying this for a while. If Cal pulls off an epic run with this class, Kentucky fans, you might as well be ready. Cal's going to stay here for the next 5-6 years.
Oh, I thought you were going to go the other way with that.
No. I think Cal's here through that contract. If he pulls
he kind of hinted
because
at that
he's going to be the Cal.
Back,
he's
right?
going to be like he's going to be the swaggy Cal again. He's going to be like, look, I told you guys, this is my way. I've proven it to you. If he can make a run, and I don't mean when I say epic, it doesn't have to be that he wins the national championship, but if he can take this team and make a Final Four run or something like that, and prove that this is the great way for him to coach and do that, because he's heard all the stuff that he can't coach and he's a terrible in-game coach and blah, blah, blah. And, the offense is terrible, and it's, he's still running the same old dribble drive that was 15 years ago, and the game has changed, and, heard all the stuff. He has, okay? Now, having said that, if for some reason this team falls apart like 2 or 3 of the last teams have, and after all of this, and you get the swaggy Cal at Drake's and everything else, and then come, February, this team falls apart, and they get beat in the second round of the NCAA tournament, Cal might be done at Kentucky. That's what I say.
I can see it either way. I'd almost go with the other way around. Like if he wins with this talent, like Devin is saying over there, he might just ride off in the sunset. Because one thing is, I feel like we're not hearing much about. Like, can you name one player in the next year or two in the high school class that's coming in?
We don't
Like
have
all
anybody
anyone's
yet.
talking about. Well, I feel like we're not hearing much about it, and I don't know. I feel like it kind of makes me feel like
Cal's
this could be
definitely
his.
been betting on this class for sure.
Exactly. That's my point. I feel like
He has.
he's going all in on this class, and I think it could be a real possibility that he wins this championship, hopefully, and then this could be his last. And I don't think he's. I want to say he wouldn't make like a Coach K 5 years in advance. Oh, this is going to be my last year, kind of thing. I would think he would be more like was it Roy Williams that kind of just stepped away silently, kind of thing. I could see more so that with Cal. So yeah, Devin, he's banking on this 100%.
I don't know, man.
So.
Cal's pretty swaggy now and pretty confident, and I know that Devin here's talking about getting winning number 9 and riding off in the sunset. I don't see that's not Cal's. It's not his nature. That's not his MO. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see that with Cal.
So you think he'd be like, I'm going to be gone on this day at this second kind of thing? Like, you think he would announce it way in advance?
I think Cal would route it out. Yeah, I really think Cal would like to have that year or 2 or whatever, of showing off, this is me. I just do. I mean, there's something about Cal likes that. He likes that attention.
Well, I don't disagree with you that he likes attention, but I don't know. I just have a feeling. I can see it either way, honestly. I can see it either way.
Devin, he's 1,000% banking on this class. He has been for the last year and a half. 1,000%. That's what I'm talking about. He has rode this class. He said, I know what I got. I mean, hell, last year he's got a shirt on, with the 5 names of the kids, with Wagner and Shepard and Bradshaw and, Dillingham and, he's got all the 5 recruits. He's got a shirt on, and all that. And I remember a few months ago when we still had the 7 players. There was a meme out that said nobody knew back then that Cal was had a shirt on with his entire roster. And I thought it was hilarious.
Well, yeah, he's got DeJuan Wagner's son. He's got Jeff Shepard's son. He's got the number 1
Legacy
draft
players.
pick. Yeah, and he's got the number 1 draft pick on his team, Justin Edwards. So, and then he's got his veteran in Reeves and Ugana. So, I think he's trying to go out with a bang. I could see it either way, but if he wins a championship, I could definitely see it.
Devin, you might be right. That would be a swaggy way to go out too with a bang. So I'm not going to say that's. I mean,
legacy squad.
He's got the legacy players. This is matter of fact, I wrote an article today before the gold medal game. You can check it out on Stadium Rant. I actually called them, legacy players, Wagner and Reed Shepard.
Yeah, man, you've been killing it with the articles. You're putting them out there. They're good
I
too.
am. Well, thank you, man. I'm trying to get notice on some stuff. I write articles for StadiumRant.com. Check them out. Most of my articles are Kentucky related. I do occasionally throw one in that's college sports related. I wrote one this week about where are they now with Jason White, Oklahoma quarterback from like 04, that won the Heisman in 03. But occasionally I write something else and just kind of mix something in because my show is called College SportsCast. So, I'm trying to mix in, you know what I mean? But when it comes to the writing, my passion is Kentucky. So, most of my writings are Kentucky related, something like that. And I'll probably do something maybe tomorrow on the gold medal game here too. So, but Devin, you might be right. He might want to go out with a bang. I don't know.
Thanks, Devin.
Hey, Devin, I appreciate it, man. It was fun.
We act like we know what we're speaking on.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Tell some people about my show. It's College Sportscast. I don't do just Kentucky stuff every night. Matter of fact, after this week, if you're still on with us this week, the next 4 nights, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm doing one at 8 o'clock Central Time, an hour earlier than this one come on tonight. And I'm going to be covering the SEC Media Days for football. I'm going to be covering the teams that are at the mic in Nashville. Tomorrow is LSU, Missouri, and Texas A&M. Kentucky is on Wednesday, so I will be talking Kentucky on Wednesday if you're a Kentucky fan and you just want to hear that. But I try to cover everything, but we do have an SEC flavor. I've got an Auburn fan that's on with us. I've got an ex-Ole Miss basketball player that's on with us. Some Hammonds is on with us. Some a Kentucky fan. I'm a Kentucky fan. So we have an SEC flavor for sure. But, yeah, check us out, Devin. I would appreciate it. And anybody else that's on the next 4 nights, this week right here is our summer series week. We started out with the GlobL Jam coverage on Sunday night, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday each night. An hour earlier at 8 Central, 9 Eastern, we're going to be covering the SEC Media Days. So Clark Lee equals watching paint dry. Clark Lee last year claimed he was going to take Vandy to the top team in the SEC. So I'm just waiting to see what Clark Lee's going to say. Yeah, this is true. This is true. They did, which is terrible, by the way.
But anyways, basketball.
It's probably one of the worst losses in the Mark Stoops era. Thank you, Devin, man. I appreciate it. And Coleman, who's on here with us on the chat, if you see him, and Kaden do a show called Talking Kentucky. They do mostly talk all Kentucky stuff. It is called Talking Kentucky. So if you are interested in that and you don't know their show, please check them out. They have a great show too, and I appreciate Coleman's been on with me 2 or 3 times. This is now Caden's second time being on with me. So I appreciate it. I know Caden's got to work tomorrow, so I appreciate you being on. It's kind of late, but I appreciate it, man. We finally got it together. It was a little crazy at the beginning, but I think we got it together.
No, I appreciate it. It's been a fun time. I enjoyed watching the Cats. Anytime you can watch the Cats in July, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, summertime Kentucky basketball, it don't get better than that, right?
No, it's Christmas in July, so yeah, I was really enjoy watching it, and I think there's some exciting things to look forward to on this team. I think it's going to be one of our more talented teams. I hope when the bigs come back that we can continue the same kind of style of play and be random, as Cal calls it. So I just look forward to that, and I really appreciate you having me on here, Brad. So you've got a good show going on. I think it's cool. I know it's a lot of work doing, like, researching all the other teams. We were talking to Freddie Maggard on our show.
It is.
And he kind of does that with football in particular, where he's writing an article on Tennessee. And, man, I cannot imagine. I don't even know. Like, basketball is my sport. I don't know if I can do that just off the top of my head with basketball. I'd have to put in a lot of time. So it's really impressive.
You have to put in a lot of research. You have to really sit down and look things over. It takes some time. It really does. So we got this week. This is our summer series week. And then starting August 1st, it's a Tuesday night. Each Tuesday in August, I'm going to be doing a Power 5 conference preview. So I've got to do the research so I can know what I'm talking about to cover Pac-12 and the Big 12. And, when you go and you talk about Arizona State, I don't know anything about Arizona State. You know what I mean? And I'll be the first to admit it. I don't, now I'm going to do the research to where, when I'm doing the show that I will know some and can cover it and, talk about it, do a prediction, that kind of stuff. But if you're asking me right now on the spot, I know that Emory Jones went there and played last year and actually transferred again. Emory Jones was the Florida quarterback 2 years ago that we beat in Lexington, that was playing in front of Anthony Richardson for Dan Mullen 2 years ago when we beat them. It'll be 2 years in October. And then last year he went to Arizona State, and he's transferred again, and he's now at Cincinnati for Satterfield at Cincinnati. Emory Jones is. So I do know a little bit about some stuff because I keep up with it all, but it's hard. There's so many teams. I mean, there's 133 teams in football and 360 something in basketball. I mean, it's impossible to know everything about everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's impossible. All right, man, I'll look you up. I'll look you up, Devin. I appreciate it, man. All right, Kaden, I appreciate it as well, man. He runs a car dealership. Okay.
So,
you say he's
so that's his job to act. I see. Is that what he's trying to get at?
Yeah. 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 He's saying he's persuasive. Kaden, I appreciate it. It's been fun. I like it's always great to watch Kentucky basketball. It's even more fun when they have the kind of talent that this team seems to have. It's even more fun than that when they're all putting it all together, and it's really cool. This is something, before this tournament started, Kentucky had never played Canada in basketball before, ever. You know what I mean? Like, this is, so to go on a world stage and go play some FIBA-sanctioned international events, it was great to be invited to this. I think it was an awesome event. I would love for Kentucky to be invited back sometime. I know they'll probably want to invite other teams as well to represent the United States in this. But if Cal gets a chance, if he's still here, of course, but if Cal gets a chance to go back to this GlobL Jam, I would jump at it. It was a really cool event.
Yeah, and it didn't. Somehow it doesn't count against their or towards their international travel, like something like the Bahamas. So I don't know how they pulled that off,
Right.
but I think it was a success all around.
Yeah, it was a really, really cool event. They had a great trophy. They get to bring home gold medals with this. Toronto is a fantastic city. I know I was joking around about the Drake stuff, but Toronto's a fantastic city on top of that. To go there and this and to have such a great event that Canada put together here for this is pretty special. So I love bringing home the golds too. So it was a
Winning's
great
better
event.
than losing.
So. Any so anytime,
Even if it's against
that's
Canada.
for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think these teams were better than the teams that we see like in Bahamas.
Oh, I agree. I think we played some Canadian team in the Bahamas. Was it Carlton or something? But yeah, I'd say all these teams were better than those. So
Yeah, you're right, Devin. It is. It's because we're playing under the USA name.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's what it is. So it doesn't count against that. You get one every 4 years or something like that for that international trip. So it doesn't count against it. So I would love to be invited back. I just want to say, if GlobL Jam catches some of my stuff, because I've been hashtagging them all over the place and stuff with my articles and this kind of stuff or whatever. It was an awesome event, great event. I loved it. I would love for Kentucky to have an invite back.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
Yeah. All right, Kaden, I'll let you jump off here, and then I'm going to put up one or two things for my upcoming shows, and then I'm going to call it quits too. So
sounds good. Well, thank you for having me on. And anytime you need me to talk about some basketball, I'd be happy to do it.
All right, man. Kaden, it was cool.
Yep.
Hey, Clyde. Clyde's
Hey,
just
Clyde.
now showing up. What's he doing on the Go Wildcats thing?
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you, Brad. I'm gonna head out of here.
All right. I know you got to work tomorrow.
All right.
So, all right.
Catch you later. Go
man.
Cats.
Absolutely. All right, guys, it was a great show. I know I had some issues when we first come on. I'm not sure. Like I said, I've got some new equipment. Okay. I got you. Okay. That's cool. I wouldn't have known who you was if you hadn't said, "Hey, it's me, Clyde." That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't have had any idea who you was. But that was Kaden Holmes from Talking Kentucky that was joining me. Coleman was on here in the chat, and they do Talking Kentucky together. They have a great show, cover Kentucky each week. Check them out. I try to support them. They try to support me. We hit each other's show up sometimes, and so check them out as well. And so a couple of things that I got going on. I told you about this week. This is our summer series week. The next 4 nights, we're going to be doing SEC media coverage. We are going to do each night at 8 o'clock. Join us. We're going to talk about the day's teams that come to the mic in Nashville for the SEC media days. Tomorrow is LSU, Missouri, and Texas A&M. So join us for that. In August, on Tuesday nights in August, one each week, we're going to cover the Power 5 conferences preview and picks. We're going to pick their regular season schedules. So if a team's going to go 10-2 or 8-4 or 6-6 or 4-8 or whatever, we're going to pick each team in the conference. First is the Pac-12. The 8th is the Big Ten. The 15th is the ACC. The 22nd is the Big 12. And the 29th is the SEC. I do include Notre Dame in the ACC. They play kind of half and half in and half out in the ACC. So I do include them in the ACC preview. That way I can hit them and cover them as well, even though they're technically independent. But check those shows out. We got the summer series this week, and then in August on Tuesdays, we've got the Power 5 preview shows. And then we're going to have our DeFan Boys Season 2 kickoff extravaganza on August the 27th. There's going to be over 15 plus podcasts on there covering teams like Texas and Georgia and Tennessee and NC State. And we're going to have some Furman stuff. We're going to have Clemson, Notre Dame. So check us out on August 27th. It's going to be an all-day thing. It's going to start at 11 o'clock Eastern time, and it's going to run to at least 7 o'clock probably. I am anchoring the show. I'll be the last hour, and then there'll be 30-minute shows in between, and we're going to have over 15, 16, 17 shows. I will be the last hour of the show, and check us out on August 27th. It's our DeFan Boys Season 2 kickoff, so I wanted to bring that up as well tonight. I appreciate you guys being on for my GlobL Jam, and we will see you guys tomorrow night. Before I go real quick, I'm going to hit up Clyde. I love this team as well. Yeah. Devin, they're half in and half out of the ACC anyway. I don't get it. They play half their schedule against the ACC anyway. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Clyde, I will check you out on Messenger, and I appreciate you being on with me, man. And y'all check me out tomorrow night. I will have a show on. We will be covering SEC Media Days for LSU, Missouri, and Texas A&M. Catch our summer series. Y'all have a good night.